The judge looked up from the documents and fixed her eyes on my mother. Before we discuss family loyalty, Mrs. Chen, I need to ask you something. Did your family also forge your daughter's signature on 4 separate estate documents? The courtroom went silent. My mother's face drained of color. My brother's lawyer started shuffling papers like he could hide in them. I had waited 18 months for this moment. How do you prove your own family stole your inheritance and your identity? How do you stand in a courtroom and face the people who raised you, knowing they erased you on paper to save themselves? I had the proof, 3 inches thick in a binder. Every receipt, every timestamp, every lie documented. But before I tell you what the judge decided, you need to understand how a family can look you in the eye and forge your name 4 times without blinking. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. And if you've ever had to stand up to family when everyone told you to just let it go, because this is how it started. I grew up invisible. My older brother was the golden child. Straight A's, varsity letters, college fund. I worked weekends at a grocery store to pay for community college. When he got his business degree, my parents threw him a party. When I passed my paralegal certification, my mom said, "That's nice, honey." I learned early not to expect much. But I also learned something else. Save everything. Every email. Every receipt. Every document. It was a survival habit. When you are used to being forgotten, you keep your own records. 3 years ago, my dad died. Heart attack. Sudden. At the funeral, my mom pulled me aside. She was crying. She held my hand and said, "Your father wanted both of you taken care of. Equal shares. He made me promise." I believed her. I had a photo of a note my dad wrote a year before he died. It was in his desk drawer. It said, "Both my kids. Equal shares. No favorites after I'm gone." I took a picture of it. I didn't know why at the time. I just did. After the funeral, I moved across the country for a legal assistant job. Better pay. Fresh start. I stayed in touch. Texts on birthdays. Calls on holidays. But I kept my distance. It was easier that way. I thought the hardest part was over. I had no idea that my habit of saving everything would be the only thing standing between me and total erasure. 18 months after the funeral, I got a thick envelope in the mail. Estate closing documents. I opened it at my kitchen table. I scanned the first page. Then the second. The family home. Transferred to my brother. Dad's retirement account. Transferred to my brother. The investment portfolio. Transferred to my brother. Total value $480,000. My share 0. I called my mother. She picked up on the 4th ring. "Mom, I just got the estate papers. Why is everything in Jason's name?" Silence. Then she said, "Your brother needs it more, sweetie. He has 3 kids. A mortgage. You have your career." Dad said equal. "Your father would have wanted Jason to have the house. Jason stayed close. You left." My hands were shaking. "Mom, these papers say I signed a quitclaim deed and beneficiary waivers. I never signed anything." "You did. At the lawyer's office last spring. I haven't been home in 2 years." Another pause. "You're misremembering. This is hard for all of us." "I'm not misremembering. I was never in that office." Her voice turned cold. "Don't make this ugly. We're family. Let it go." She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. Then I opened my calendar app. I scrolled back. Every work trip. Every conference. Every day accounted for. I had never set foot in that lawyer's office. Someone signed my name. And my mother knew. I called the estate attorney the next morning. He was polite, firm. "Ms. Chen, we have your signed consent forms on file. Notarized. The estate is closed." I never signed those. I understand grief can be confusing, but I wasn't there. "I need copies of everything." He said he'd send them. I called my brother. Voicemail. I texted him. No response. I texted my mom. She replied, "Please stop harassing your brother. He's under enough stress. This is exactly why Dad worried about you." I felt like I was losing my mind. I booked a consultation with a litigation attorney. $200 for 30 minutes. She listened. Took notes. Then she said, "Family forgery cases are brutal. Do you have $30,000 for a retainer? Do you have proof you didn't sign? Because this could take years and destroy what's left of your family." I didn't have $30,000. I left her office and sat in my car. I started to doubt myself. What if I had signed something and blocked it out? What if grief made me forget? Then I opened my laptop. I pulled up the folder I keep for everything: travel, conferences, receipts, and that's when I found the thread that unraveled everything. The estate attorney finally emailed me the signed documents. 4 forms. 4 signatures that look like mine. 4 dates. I cross-referenced my calendar. March 10th, 2022. 2:14 p.m. According to the notary log, I walked into that office and signed a quitclaim deed at 2:14 in the afternoon. I opened my email. I searched the date. March 10th. I was in Dallas. I was presenting a panel at the National Paralegal Conference. I had the registration receipt. I had the hotel checkout record. And I had a photo I took at 2:09 p.m., 5 minutes before I supposedly signed away my inheritance. The photo was geo-tagged. Dallas Convention Center. I was 1,200 miles away. I pulled the conference program. My panel was at 2 p.m. I sent an email from my phone at 2:11, responding to a colleague. The metadata was embedded: location, time, device. I wasn't just out of town. I had proof I was 1,200 miles away when someone walked into that office and signed my name. I sat back. My brother had access to my old signatures, tax forms, birthday cards. The notary never checked ID, because the family's estate attorney vouched for whoever showed up. But if I didn't sign, who did? I sent the alibi evidence to the estate attorney in a formal letter. I filed a complaint with the state notary board. I copied my brother and my mother. That's when things got ugly. My mother sent an email to the entire extended family. The subject line: a difficult truth. She wrote, "It breaks my heart to say this, but my daughter has decided to value money over family. After everything we've been through, she is accusing her own brother of theft. I'm asking everyone to keep Jason and his kids in your prayers during this painful time." My aunt called me. "Can't you just let this go? Your brother has 3 children. You're single. You make good money. Why are you doing this?" I tried to explain. She cut me off. "This is tearing the family apart." My brother's wife posted on social media. She didn't name me. She didn't have to. It's sad when people who claim to care about family only show up when there's money involved. Toxic people will always reveal themselves. 63 likes. Comments from cousins I grew up with. So true. Family over everything. Praying for you. My cousin uninvited me from her wedding. My mom thinks it's best if you don't come. It would be too awkward with Jason there. I was being erased again. Not just from the estate. From the family. But I didn't fold. I went back to the documents. And I found something worse. I hired a forensic document examiner. It cost me $800 I didn't have. I sent her my real signatures. Driver's license, passport, employment contract. I sent her the 4 estate signatures. 2 weeks later, she sent me an 18-page report. I skipped to the conclusion. The questioned signatures exhibit inconsistent stroke dynamics, irregular pen pressure distribution, and non-natural hesitation patterns consistent with simulation or tracing. Probability of authentic authorship, less than 2%. In plain language, someone had practiced my signature and forged it. The report had side-by-side images. My real signature had fluid loops. Consistent pressure. The forged ones had uneven spacing. Unnatural pen lifts, subtle but undeniable. Someone had samples of my writing. They had practiced. They had traced or simulated my name well enough to fool a notary who didn't check ID. But under forensic analysis, the forgery lit up like a neon sign. I had 2 pieces of proof now. I wasn't there, and the signatures weren't mine. I knew who had motive. I knew who had access. But I still didn't have the why. Why would my mother co-sign this? Why would my brother risk a felony? 3 days later, I found out. I hired a private investigator to do a surface records check. Nothing invasive. Just public filings. He found it in 20 minutes. My brother had filed for bankruptcy 8 months before my father died. Chapter 7, Total Discharge. He owed $90,000. Credit cards. A failed business loan. Personal guarantees he couldn't cover. The bankruptcy was granted. His debts were wiped. But the timing mattered. If my dad's estate had been split 50-50, my brother's half would have been seized by creditors during the bankruptcy window. He would have gotten nothing. And there was something else. My mother had co-signed one of his loans. $35,000. If the estate paid my brother's debts, she was off the hook. If it didn't, the creditors could come after her. They didn't steal my inheritance because they were greedy. They stole it because they were desperate. This wasn't about favoring the golden child. It was about survival, cold, calculated, desperate arithmetic. I stared at the bankruptcy filing on my screen, and for the first time I understood. Understanding didn't make it right, but it made my next decision easier. I found a litigation attorney who worked on contingency. That means she only got paid if we won. I walked into her office with the binder, the alibi, the forensic report, the bankruptcy filing. She read for 20 minutes without speaking. Then she looked up. This is one of the cleanest forgery cases I've ever seen. We can file within the week. I nodded. She continued. I'm also recommending we file a criminal complaint with the county district attorney. Identity theft, forgery, fraud. Will they prosecute? With this evidence? It's possible. At minimum, it gives us leverage. I took a breath. Do it. We filed a civil lawsuit, fraud, forgery, unjust enrichment. Named defendants. My brother, the estate attorney, and the notary. We attached 3 exhibits. The alibi. The forensic analysis. The bankruptcy motive. We filed the criminal complaint the same day. I didn't tell my family. I didn't warn them. I just had them served. A process server delivered the papers to my brother at his home on a Thursday morning. My mother got hers by certified mail. I gave them a chance to make it right. They chose war. Now they'd get court. 3 weeks later, we were all standing in front of a judge. And my mother made one last try. The hearing was in a small courtroom on the 3rd floor. Preliminary injunction. We were asking the judge to freeze the estate assets while the case moved forward. I got there early. I sat in the hallway. My mother arrived with my brother. She saw me. She walked over. Please don't do this. This will destroy your brother. We're family. I looked at her. Family doesn't forge signatures. She started to cry. I'm begging you. I stood up and walked into the courtroom. My brother's attorney went first. He was smooth. Expensive suit. Calm voice. Your Honor, this is a tragic misunderstanding between 2 grieving siblings. My client has done nothing wrong. The estate was settled in good faith. Ms. Chen is upset, understandably, but her claims are baseless. The judge looked at him. Counselor, does your client dispute that these documents bear Ms. Chen's signature? No, Your Honor, the signatures are authentic. And Ms. Chen claims she never signed them. Correct, but my attorney stood. Your Honor, may I present Exhibit A? The screen lit up. A photo. Me, conference badge visible. Timestamp, March 10th, 2022, 2:09 p.m., geo-tagged, Dallas Convention Center. Ms. Chen was 1,200 miles away when the notary claims she appeared in person. The judge leaned forward. My attorney continued. Exhibit B, forensic document analysis. The signatures on these 4 forms are forgeries. Stroke dynamics inconsistent. Probability of authenticity less than 2%. The brother's attorney was flipping through papers now, looking for a rebuttal. The judge turned to my mother in the gallery. Before we discuss family loyalty, Mrs. Chen, I need to ask you something. Did your family also forge your daughter's signature on 4 separate estate documents? My mother's mouth opened. Nothing came out. The judge turned to the notary, who had been subpoenaed. Ma'am, did you verify Ms. Chen's identity on March 10th? The notary's voice shook. The estate attorney said it was fine. The family attorney vouched for her. I didn't check her ID. Silence. The judge closed the folder. Motion granted. All estate assets are frozen pending a full forensic audit. I'm referring this matter to the district attorney's office for criminal investigation. We're adjourned. The gavel came down. My brother's face went white. My mother was weeping. I exhaled for the first time in 18 months. The estate attorney surrendered his license 3 weeks later. He took a settlement to avoid a malpractice suit. The notary lost her credential, permanently. The district attorney reviewed the criminal complaint. She called me. We have enough to prosecute. But your brother's attorney has proposed a settlement. Full restitution. Structured payments. No jail time if he complies. I thought about it. I didn't want revenge. I wanted what my father promised me. What are the terms? He repays your full half of the estate. $240,000. Paid immediately from the sale of assets or a lien on the house. Plus your legal fees? $38,000. If he defaults, prosecution moves forward. I agreed. 2 months later, my brother signed the agreement. He kept the house, but it had a lien on it for $240,000, payable over 10 years. If he missed a payment, I could foreclose. He sold the investment portfolio to pay me the first half immediately. The wire transfer hit my account on a Tuesday morning, $240,000. I stared at the number on my screen. I felt numb. My mother sent one final text. I hope you're happy. I didn't respond. I blocked the number. A cousin reached out privately. I didn't know the whole story. I'm sorry I believed the email. I'm sorry I didn't ask. I appreciated that. But I didn't go to the next family reunion. Some bridges burn for a reason. I used part of the settlement to establish a scholarship fund. The first-generation paralegal scholarship. In memory of my father, it pays for certification exams and coursework for students who work their way through school. Students like me, I didn't get my family back. But I got my father's promise kept. I got my name back. And I learned something I'll never forget. You can't choose your family, but you can choose not to let them erase you. Loyalty without integrity isn't loyalty. It's complicity. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and fighting for what's right? What did you do? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you believe that boundaries matter more than blood, hit that subscribe button. I've got more stories like this every week. One last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization. It is not legal or financial advice. If you're facing a situation like this, consult a licensed attorney in your state. Thanks for watching. And remember, always keep your receipts.